everybody. Lucas, you go ahead first.
Coach, from the last 10 minutes of the first half through much of the second half, it seemed like Caleb Love was just making big shot after big shot. How much better is this team when Love is lighting it up?
Well, our team is really good when Caleb plays well, but I thought there were a number of ways that Caleb had a terrific game. Number one, he led our team in assists. I mean, he had 5 assists and only 1 turnover. I thought he did a really good job when he came off of ball screens, just trying to read what Virginia was trying to do. You know, a lot of times Virginia hard hedges or they'll trap coming off ball screens, and it can disrupt guards if they're not able to handle the pressure, not just their ability to score, but to get the ball out to a player that can do something with it. And I thought he did that really well. Of course, his ability to make shots is such a benefit to us, but I thought he had an outstanding game on the defensive end. I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to guard their action. You know, the main play that they run, it's a circle action, and you're consistently coming off flare screens and down screens, flare screens and down screens, and Virginia's from an offensive standpoint is methodical, and so they rarely shoot quick shots. So, from a defensive standpoint, you have to lock in for every possession, pretty much an average of 20 seconds plus, and to be able to do that and still play 38 minutes. I mean, it's just Caleb's just had an unbelievable year, and it's why he's one of the best cards in the country, and why he's going to be an unbelievable NBA player as well.
Andrew Jones.
Working off of that, how have you seen Caleb evolve as a distributor over his sophomore season?
Well, I've always said that it's a big difference between freshman guards and sophomore guards, and for Caleb, he didn't have the luxury of having a veteran point guard when he came in to kind of teach him the ropes. He came in last year and we just gave him the ball and said, "You're at North Carolina, you're the point guard, make it happen." And it's such a benefit to have older, experienced players that have been there before to be an example to you, not just on the court, but how to prepare, how to practice, how to put yourself in a position to be successful. And so he's had to do that really on the fly. And so to see the difference in him between his freshman and sophomore year is really fun to watch, and I'm very proud of him.
Andrew Jones.
Hey, Coach, given the manner, the way that they defended you guys during that 7-game streak going into today, how gratifying was it to see your team play the way they played with all that cohesion and getting looks all over the floor? And how much the way that you guys play now being a little bit different, how much did that affect the fact that you guys were able to get a lot of those looks as opposed to before?
I think the difference of the way that we play now gives us the ability to be able to get shots against an unbelievable Virginia team that gets after it on the defensive end every game. I've said before, Coach Bennett is one of the best coaches in basketball, not just college, but NBA, international, whatever it is. And his teams, they all have, they're great individual defenders, but they're also good team defenders, and it's very difficult to get good shots against them. In order to get consistent good shots against them defensively, you have to have spacing, balance, and movement. And so in our offensive sets, one of the things that we talked about is just has to be movement. We've got to change sides of the floor. We got to give them a chance to make a mistake. You just can't come down the floor and just be stationary and try to attack. It's just not going to work for them. And you also have to have the ability to shoot. The times that we have been successful against Virginia have been, times that we've been able to shoot the ball from the outside, which gives us that spacing to be able to drive and attack the basket. I just think it's a huge benefit when we got guys like Caleb and RJ that can shoot, and then now we have Brady as a big man at the 4 that can hit 5 threes. And then you bring Anthony and Justin off the bench, and they're knocking down perimeter jump shots. That extends their defense, and it gives us an opportunity to be able to score.
Brendan, go ahead.
Hey, Hubert. Yeah, you've spoken a few times about how when you first got the job and how excited you were when you learned that Caleb and Armando would be back. And similarly, when Brady and Dawson committed it in the spring, how closely did the way that your guys played today resemble the way that back then you may have thought that they were capable of playing on a game-to-game basis?
Well, one of the things that we talked about when we came back from Notre Dame is I said that they've been given three things. They've been given an opportunity to play, and they've been also given the ability to play. I said myself, Coach Lebo, Coach May, Coach Sullivan, Coach Frederick, we no longer have the opportunity and we no longer have the ability to play. And I said, well, now that you have the opportunity and ability to play, you also have a responsibility to play. And you have a responsibility to be the best that you can be every day on both ends of the floor and to play as hard as you can. And when we talked about it in that way, them having an opportunity and ability, and because of that, their responsibility is to play as hard as they can. That seemed to resonate in them when we got back from Notre Dame, and it really gave us encouragement. And we practiced really well yesterday in our preparation for Virginia, and I was really happy with their effort on both ends of the floor. Virginia's an unbelievable basketball team, and anytime that you get a chance to compete against them and you end up winning, it's been a good day, and it's a good day for North Carolina basketball.
Michael Coe.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. So with the 7-day layoff now between this game and Georgia Tech next weekend, how much are you looking forward to the challenge of finding that consistency to bring that same intensity that was there today into next Saturday night?
Well, I am. It's tomorrow we're gonna take a day off. It's been, I think, like 9 days straight where the guys haven't had a day off. We're either practicing or we're playing at 1 o'clock in Boston or 9 p.m. in South Bend. And so it's a much needed rest for them tomorrow to be able to catch their breath and get their bodies right. And then you add in the adjustment on Monday, that's when they start school again. And so the first day of classes in the spring semester start on Monday. So you add the academic piece to it. And so I'm just excited to get back to practice next week and just kind of build on what we're doing, in the huddle. I mean, in the locker room after the game, I said, one of the things that you should be really encouraged by and motivated is that you guys have experienced the benefit of playing with energy, effort, and toughness. And so that should be an encouragement and also a motivation to continue to have that feeling. And so it all starts with preparation and practice, and I'm looking forward to getting back to that next week.
Thank you.
CL Brown.
Hey, Hubert, I asked Brady about, what he and Armando did to kind of build the continuity that they've shown on the court playing together. I was curious from your perspective, what you guys did as a coaching staff to kind of get them to a point where they complement each other like they do.
They really do, CL. They do. They play really well together, and it's been that way since Brady has gotten here. It's both of them are very skilled, but both of them bring different types of talents and skills to the table on both ends of the floor, and they just really complement each other. They understand spacing. They understand where each one of them, are going to be positioned out there on the floor. I don't think you can script or force chemistry. Either it's there or it's not, CL. And I just, for whatever reason, Armando and Brady out there on the floor, their communication on both ends of the floor is just really good. It's nothing forced. It's nothing. It's really just organic that for them to be able to work well out there on the floor, and to think that they've only been together just this year, the way that they play off of each other, the way that they play together, it seems like those two have, been on the floor a lot longer than just this season.
Adam Smith.
Hubert, you talking about the effort that you saw from your guys after Notre Dame going into today and in practice and the sort of the competitive spirit. Do you think being able to find an attitude like that helps when you have a guy going for 29 and 21. Like, I don't want to say makes it easier, but, when you have someone playing at the level that Armando did today, does that sort of generate an attitude for a team, do you think?
I don't know about an attitude. As I said before, the thing that we've talked about is that we have this team, each individual player in this team, anytime that we play basketball, has to be clothed with energy, effort, and toughness. And so as good as Armando is, or Brady, or Caleb, or RJ, or Leaky, or Ant, or Justin, like, if you don't bring the energy, effort, and toughness piece, it's just not going to work out individually and as a team. And so, in terms of the attitude, that's the attitude. I think CL asked me maybe 2.5 weeks ago, what do I want what is the identity of this team, or what do I want the identity of this team to be? And my desire is for people to look, whether it's in person, on TV, or whatever, highlights, and I want them to be able to have the identity that this is a North Carolina team that always comes to play, and they play with energy, effort, and toughness, irregardless of the result. They always show up. And so in terms of, the identity of this team, that's what I want. And I think at times it's been that. I'm just stubborn, and I want what I want, and I want that all the time. And I'm going to continue to love them and to coach them and to encourage them the benefit of bringing that every time that they step on the floor.
I'll let CL know you remembered his question. Thank you.
I remember everything.
Isaac, go ahead.
Coach, was the decision to play Armando and Caleb and RJ as much as they did, was that premeditated or more a function of game script? And if it was premeditated, did it have anything to do with the time off in the week ahead?
Well, the reason why I played them so many minutes was a couple of reasons. Number one, they were playing really well. And so when they're playing really well, I really like them on the court. And so they were playing really, really well. Number two is because Dawson and Kerwin weren't here, and we just got Justin back to practice yesterday. He was out for a week. We just didn't have very many options in terms of bigs. And so it was a combination of things of, missing Dawson and Kerwin, two guys that play big minutes for us that weren't able to play today. And then also the combination of how well Armando and Brady and Caleb and RJ and those guys were playing. They were playing really well. I didn't want to take them out.
Thank you.
Isaiah?
Hey, Coach, how does the staff treat turnovers, especially the ones that come off players trying to make tight passes?
Well, I don't like turnovers. Like one of the things that I always say is, and Coach Williams said this, and I really liked it, so I stole it from him. It's not really stole it, because he knows I say it, and so I've borrowed it, okay? But a turnover is either selfishness or carelessness. It's one of the two. And I've told this team 100% of the time, our turnovers are carelessness. It's never selfishness. It's never. Our guys on our team and our kids are great. It's never selfish, but it's careless 100% of the time. And so one of the things that we talk about all the time is, make the easy play, take care of the basketball, and that we don't need home runs, we just need singles. And that's something that we talk about and reinforce every day at practice and in the games.
Okay, last two. Patrick, you go ahead first, and then Ross.
Hubert, I can't believe we've gotten this far. We haven't really talked that much about Armando. The day he had put him in pretty exclusive company. Tyler Hansbrough, Tim Duncan, Sean May, some of the names that are thrown around that he's in company with this performance. I mean, what kind of ceiling are you seeing at this point, and is it even elevated beyond what you initially thought?
No, I thought Armando can do this. Every year, one of the things that I love about Armando is there's a number of things, but to me, this is what college basketball is. It's the progression, it's the growth of these kids. You know, so much we don't now kids go to the NBA, they transfer, and we don't get an opportunity for them to be able to just grow as a player. And every year Armando's just gotten better. He's just gotten better. And one of the things that I'm really proud of him about is, you know, he has aspirations and dreams of playing at the next level. And one of the things that I told him was, you know, he has no chance of going to the next level if he doesn't develop perimeter skills, if he can't handle the basketball, and if he can't even be a threat to shoot the ball from the outside. So this summer, every week he made 1,000 threes, but it didn't change what he does best. And so even though that he can shoot the ball from the perimeter, and he didn't shoot any threes today, but he does what he can do every day consistently, and that's rebound and finish around the basket. And I didn't know he had 29 points and 21 rebounds. I know he played a really good game, but when I saw the stat sheet, I was like, oh my gosh. And the last time that me personally has seen a stat line like that was Bryce Johnson when we played at Florida State. I think he had 39 and 20-something, 23 rebounds. That's the last time that I've seen a dominant force like that. And to be able to do it against a Virginia team that is very physical and tries to double team you every time you put the ball on the floor in the block. That's the best performance I've seen anybody against Virginia and that I can remember. And I'm very, very proud of Armando.
Ross, last one.
Yeah, and following up on that, Coach, what has he done to become more of an effective scorer down low? He's had 6 double-doubles last 6 games, and to be a more effective rebounder. What's the improvement from the end of last year and through this season to now?
Well, rebounding is all effort and energy, effort, and toughness. So the reason why he's getting rebounds is because he's giving the energy and the effort and the toughness that is needed in order to rebound the basketball. I mean, he had 9 offensive rebounds. I mean, the ball just doesn't come to you. That's all energy, effort, and toughness. His ability to finish around the basket and the things that he's been able to do is because he works on it. I mean, the only way that you can improve is to get into the gym and to get better and to work at it. And so Armando is somebody that relentlessly works on becoming the best basketball player that he can become. He's always doing stuff before practice, after practice. His preparation and the things that he worked on this summer has put him in a position to have this type of year. So it's all hard work and energy and effort and toughness for Armando.